Almost every AI visual effects tool out right now either does one piece of the job or expects you to already be a pro editor. So I ran the top 6 through the exact same test, and the one that came out on top was not what I expected. In this video, I'll walk you through all of them and show you the VFX tool you can actually use even if you're not a professional editor. So the first tool on the list is Open Art VFX. If you want to test it yourself, I'll leave a link in the description below where you can sign up along with all the other tools we're testing today. Once you're inside, head over to the VFX section where I'm putting it through 3 essential tests. The first one is replacing the background, since that's the most common and useful thing you'll do when you're editing a photo or a video. Up until now, you only had 2 options to do this. You could film yourself in front of a green screen or sit there cutting yourself out of every single frame by hand, which honestly used to take me forever. But now, this AI tool claims to separate you from the background on its own automatically. So let's test that. First of all, I made a video waving at the camera, which we will use in this test and in all subsequent ones, so that we can equally evaluate how each tool handles it. I upload my video where it says choose a video to edit. And for the background, there are a ton of pre-made options, though you can always upload your own. To keep it simple, I'll just use the pre-made ones. And first, I go with a modern office skyline. The nice part is that because it's a pre-made option, OpenArt already writes the prompt for me. So I just set the resolution to 1080p and hit generate. And here's what it gives back. It rebuilds everything behind me while keeping my face and my movement exactly how I filmed them. I'm sitting in a glass-walled office I was obviously never in, and the light on me matches it well enough that it actually looks real. And honestly, I was waiting for it to mess up the edges around me, like these tools always do, but it actually held up. Then I run the same video again with a different background, a podcast studio, because I've always wanted to start my own podcast anyway. A few seconds later, it's the same video of me in a completely different mood, like I recorded the whole thing in a real studio. So that's how easily you can change a background in just a few seconds. And what really impressed me this time wasn't just the perfect edges, but the atmosphere he managed to create with the light on me. We can see a clear difference between the flat white lighting of the first background and the warmer and cozier lighting in the second one. And speaking of lighting, our second test will be precisely about that. So for the second test, we're doing the relighting. Normally, the only way to fix your lighting is to get it right before you hit record. And if you don't have expensive gear, that turns into a problem fast. And trust me, I've tried fixing it with color grading before, and the changes just aren't that big. So you're left using those low quality filters to change your video. But with OpenArt VFX, you just go into relight video, and like before, I upload the same video and pick a reference lighting look. I start with a soft beauty studio. You can write your own prompt here, but the preset filled it in for me in one click, so I just set the resolution to 1080p and hit generate. And right away, the whole shot goes soft and clean, the kind of polished light you'd normally need a full studio to pull off. And the best part is it didn't just brighten me up, it fixed the shadows too, so the light actually looks real. So that one worked great, but now, let's see how it does if I go to complete opposite and ask for concert spotlights instead. Now it's colored beams and haze, the same video of me suddenly lit, like I'm a DJ on a stage. So even though my initial lighting was pretty bad, this tool let me fix it in seconds. But for the third test, I'll go after the one thing I figured was off limits for most AI tools, the actual person in the shot. And to do this test, I want to replace my image with a mechanical robot, so it won't be a simple swap, and we can see if the model is really able to handle that without hallucinating the result. So let's go ahead and do that inside the same OpenArt VFX feature. I upload the same video, and the first thing I do is mark the area I want to change, which is me. I hit select mask, and the pop-up gives me a few ways to do it. Smart select, a brush, and an eraser if you want to go by hand, but auto select is the one you'll use most of the time. So I press auto select, and right away the AI highlights me and adds me as area 1 on the right. I hit preview, and once I'm happy with the selection, I press confirm. So now it knows exactly what I want to change. To make the robot, I press create with AI, or you can pick between the Nano Banana versions or GPT image. So I go with Nano Banana 2, paste my prompt into the little box, and hit generate. That gives me a clean image of a mechanical robot to replace me. But I have to be honest here, this is the second generation. In the first one, the robot came out looking a bit weird, but this happens to all of us from time to time. Last step is the describe your idea box, where I just say to replace the person in the video with the mechanical robot. Set the resolution to 1080p and hit generate. And here's what it gives back. I've turned into a full mechanical robot that mimics the exact same movements I was doing, and it kept the background completely in place. So you can turn yourself into basically anything, and OpenArt makes it simple enough that a complete beginner could do it in seconds. But now, let's look at the other tools and see how they actually compare to this. First up is Runway, probably the most established AI video tool out there. So if anything was going to match all that, I figured it'd be this. Runway is mainly built for generating video from scratch. So doing VFX on footage you already have is more of a side feature. It can still do a piece of what we just saw though. Inside Edit Studio, there's a model called Aleph 2.0, and what it's good at is changing everything around you while keeping you exactly the same. So I drop in the same video and tell it to keep me untouched, but turn the environment into a blizzard, and it actually does it well. The whole background becomes a snowstorm around me while I stay exactly as I was filmed. The catch is that this is basically the background swap again. Just one of the three things OpenArt did in one place. Runway has bits of the rest too, where you can swap the product in the video and a little relighting, but it's spread out across the platform, and it isn't really the point. So Runway handles the environment swap well, but that's one piece of the job, and VFX just isn't what it's built for. Next up is the tool the pros actually use, and it can technically do all of it, as long as you're ready for what that takes. That tool is Adobe, the industry standard the professionals have used for years. And yeah, it can technically do all of this. Adobe covers both Premiere Pro and After Effects, and the newer AI tools are built right in next to the classic ones. So inside Premiere, I grab the Object Mask tool, and if you long press it, you get a few more masking options, but I just click straight onto myself. It masks me out instantly, and the red overlay shows exactly what it isolated, with no manual work at all. That part actually matters because this is the job that used to mean rotoscoping yourself out frame by frame by hand, and now it's basically one click. After Effects has its own version called the Object Matte tool, an upgrade to the old roto brush that you bring up with Alt plus W. I hover over myself and drag to select, Alt drag to deselect anything I don't want. The purple overlay shows that I've been cleanly cut out inside the composition. Then there's Generative Extend powered by Firefly, and this one does something none of the others can. I grab the end of my 5-second video, drag it out to 7, and it fills in brand new video plus matching audio that you genuinely can't tell was added. And the audio it adds actually matches my room, so there's no weird jump when the new part comes in. The problem is that all of this requires you to be a professional editor. So these are really good tools to help you do the VFX yourself, but you still need to actually know Premiere and After Effects to get good results. Now there are a few more tools that do something completely different, plus one that's technically the most powerful of all and almost nobody can actually use. The first two are Wonder Studio and DeepMotion. Wonder Studio, which is now called Autodesk Flow Studio, takes the person in your footage and replaces them with a full CG character, rebuilding the entire scene in 3D. DeepMotion does the opposite. Turning your footage into motion captured data you can put onto an animated character. Both of those are made for animation and character work, not for changing the background or the lighting on something you already shot. So they're solving a separate problem entirely. Then there's ComfyUI, which is technically the most powerful option of all of them. It can do the in-painting, the relighting, and honestly far more than that, all through a node-based setup. The catch is that you need to understand nodes and models and do a real amount of technical setup, so the learning curve is steep enough that most people are never going to touch it. Honestly, I spent a whole afternoon just getting one of these to run before I gave up. So after putting all 6 through the same footage, I realized what actually matters is being able to create the effects you need fast and at the best quality, while keeping the whole process simple. And even though there are plenty of VFX tools out there that give you tons of options, they're clearly made for professionals who've been doing this for years. But the only one I've found that works really well for people without that kind of experience is Open Art VFX, where you can change the background, the lighting, and a bunch of other things with zero editing skills. Honestly, if you're just getting into this, I'd start with this one. And if you want to try this yourself, check out the Wonder Annual Plan, as it gives you the best value, with VFX videos costing as little as 60 cents each. Monthly users can also use my code Yuri15 for 15% off. So go sign up to OpenArt with my link in the description and start creating your own VFX. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.